Hi, it's Linda with Ministry Solutions Expert.
And this is Craig.
Yep, we're both here, and what we want to show you today is how quickly you can create schedules using Ministry Scheduler Pro. So we're just going to go ahead and get started, and what we want you to see is the task that can take sometimes days or even a full week to get done, and how quickly you can do it here. So let me get my little timer up. Okay, so the first thing, before you can start doing your schedules, the first thing you want to have done is that you've contacted all of your volunteers and you've told them all that they need to go online and update their profiles.
Right.
And they can do that using the app or they can go online to the web terminal, whichever way works best. The app is the fastest. So now we're at the point where they should have all gotten their dates in. The other thing is that even before they did that, I would have gone in here to service times, and we have all of our weekly services all set up, but I went ahead and activated the special services that fall during my next scheduling period so that people could volunteer for them. Okay, so with that all done, we're truly ready to start putting the schedules together. I'm going to switch over here to schedules. You'll see that the current schedule that we have runs until August 30th. And we want to do the next one, which is going to be the second half of ordinary time. So that's going to be from August 31st, and we're going to have it run till November 27th, and that'll bring us right up to Advent. I generally do all the schedules by liturgical season because it's also helpful. Musicians tend to plan their music by liturgical season. It's an easier way for everybody to plan. Okay, I'm going to turn on this little timer because there'll be points during this where we pause the video so you don't have to watch when the system is just thinking and doing things. What we're going to do first is click the Create button, and that brings up the skeleton schedule. And what it's going to do is take that list of services and all of the different dates, and the first thing here I get questions. It's going to look and say on September 4th, there's an annual service, which is this school mass, and then all of the regular services. Now, the school mass is actually going to replace that 8:35 mass, but I can't pick just one right here. So I'm going to have the system create all of these services, and then we'll go back and fix them and change them. The same thing on October 16th, same thing on November 11th, where there's a school mass and then these other regularly scheduled masses. But here on November 26th, that's Thanksgiving Day. And on Thanksgiving, all of our locations, we're just going to have this one 9 o'clock Mass at the church, and I don't want the schedule to create all of these other services. So on this one, I'm going to select Create Only the Yearly Service. And by clicking that, the others are grayed out, and I'll only get one service that date. I tell it to continue. Now it's asking me about the volunteers who are going to be considered for these services. And it wants to know, the one that's going to apply is the Thanksgiving Day. It's going to say, do I want people who are normally the weekly people or that have special annual things? And the thing is, the weekly people would be mostly my daily mass crowd. And they may not be the ones who fill in or take the assignments for Thanksgiving Day. So I'm going to tell it to select yearly service preferences. And that we can do a different video to get into the details of it. Okay, so it's going to create the skeleton schedule. It's going to have it with all of the masses, all of the services, and they'll be blank. There'll be nobody in it unless there are some pre-assignments. And anybody with a pre-assignment will be in the schedule, but otherwise it'll be blank. I'm going to go ahead and pause our video so that you don't have to sit and wait for that skeleton schedule to come up. So we're about just around 2 minutes right now. Okay, so we have now a skeleton schedule created. It opens it up in a separate window. I'll just move it slightly to the side. And you can see here you've got from August 31st all the way down here to November 27th. We're at about 4 minutes right now. You can see on our timer, our little real-time timer. And the amount of time you would spend right now going through this is really dependent upon, one, how long you've been doing it and how established your scheduling system is. For me, I've got this for actually a couple years now, so I can get through it pretty quickly. But I am going to go through to those dates that I knew where I had school masses, like September 4th, and you can see here's the school mass at 9:30. The mass that I don't want is this one here at 8:35. So I'm going to go up to schedule and go down and choose delete the service. And that will take that one out of there. I don't want people to get assigned to a mass that's not happening. Okay, I'll do the same thing on October 16th. School mass here. The mass I don't want is here, so I'll go ahead and take that out. And then also on November 11th. School mass here, and so we want to take this mass out. Now, just to look, you can see when we go down to Thanksgiving Day here on the 26th, there's only one service scheduled. Another thing I just want to point out before we get the scheduler running, we put into our schedules music practice. And I only point that out because when the schedules pop up, it'll say that some assignments aren't filled, and a lot of time it's just these music practices. It's not the actual liturgies, but I just want you to see that going in. So I'm comfortable with all of my assignments and everything I have in there, so I'm going to go ahead and tell it to commence scheduling. Now, this is that same question about yearly services and weekly services and how volunteers are considered, and it gives me a chance to change my mind, but I'm not going to. I'm going to hit continue. And now this is a great place because it says, do you want to schedule everything or just particular ministries? Now, and Craig knows this from being a music director himself, a lot of churches you don't want to run a scheduler to schedule your music ministry people because depending on what you have set up, the music director has specific musicians, cantors, and choirs that they want at different liturgies. So you can go in here and you can say schedule everything except music. And in some churches, especially if you have several different clergy going to different locations, you might want to run a schedule just with clergy to begin with and just get a clergy schedule out. But for me, I'm just going to say get every position filled that you can fill, and I'm going to tell it to commence scheduling. So it's going to run through now, and again, I'm going to pause the video. We're just approaching the 7-minute mark on our task right there. I'm going to go ahead and pause because this is going to take a good 5 to 6 minutes to run. Okay, we're back, and as you can see, I've got names in my different fields here, but also a little message saying that some services could not be filled completely, and I kind of mentioned that. That would be like these music practices, but
I'll tell you what's remarkable with this though is if a person were to just use a database and try and do this by hand, you'd never even come close to that little bit of time you just saw go by. So the efficiency of this program is remarkable.
yep, it can be, and we all who have done ministry scheduling the old-fashioned way, and funny that the old-fashioned way includes Word and Excel, but that you can do it and have it so quick. And for our demonstration, we've even scheduled music practices and all the music ministries. At our parish, we did coffee and donuts and a lot of other ministries. So imagine how quickly you can get everything in. It's a matter of setting that database up to collect the information. Okay, so you would spend some time now going through these different masses to see what's not filled, and as I mentioned, most of these are music practices. Music practices. You can see the things that are filled in up here. All of the liturgical ministries are filled. All the clergy positions are filled. But I would spend some time going through it, and again, the time spent doing that will depend upon how much experience you have in your database and how mature it is, I guess we could use. So really the only thing left to do is to let everyone know that the new schedules are out. Now if they're using the app and they go on the app, they're just going to see all their new assignments. But I like to send an announcement out, so I'm going to switch to the other window and go to the emailer tool. Now, I'll be doing some more videos and we'll both be chatting about that because I have lots of great things to show you about how you can use this tool. But I'm going to go into settings and pre-configured templates and pull up the one for schedule finalized. And that's just going to be a basic template for telling everybody the schedule's finalized, here are your assignments. Now I'm having it go to all volunteers. I could have it go to just certain volunteers, but now I'm going to do a quick preview of it to see what it looks like. And you can jump through this one because you know what it's telling me? Hang on, I have to go back and save that. So one thing I forgot to do is to save this file, and I'm going to go ahead and let it just name it. I'll rename it for my liturgical name later. At the bottom, it's asking me if I want to clone my previous one. And what that is that I created schedule templates for the choir only, for kids only, an interactive view, a grid view, and every time I do a new schedule, I want all of those different styles and all those different schedules to recreate themselves. I don't have to do it. Just by clicking this clone button, I can say yes, and it'll do it. Okay, so now when I go back, let me let that save it and catch up. Now I'll go back and I can hit preview. I won't get that same little error message. And I can tell it that these schedules were done. That was the August 31st through November 27th schedules. And say OK. And now I'm going to get a list of names of all the volunteers who are going to receive an email. And if I click on one to see what it looks like, here's Janet. And it says, Janet, here's the new schedule. And here are your assignments. And notice she has that request sub, but she has all the information what we know that she's going to receive. And again, you can edit this and add your own information, add whatever you want, but that'll be other videos to show you how to do it. So when I'm happy with that email, I hit send, and every single one of those volunteers is getting their message. I can also then go in if I want and print the schedules for people who don't have internet connection. But otherwise, I've finished. And you can see over here on our little stopwatch, it was about 16 minutes. I figure give yourself 30 minutes time to get a cup of coffee and relax. But that's how quickly you can get schedules done in Ministry Scheduler Pro. Okay, well, that was the lesson for today, the tip of the day. And that's how quick it goes. Feel free to reach out with questions or comments, and check us out for more of our videos about this and other solutions for church ministry. Thanks a lot. Talk to you soon.
See you again.